Do remember why people are connected to you. They're connected to you because they care about you. They care about you, they love you, they want to be a part of your world, and they want you to be a part of theirs. But they didn't friend request you or accept your friend request because they wanted your business rammed down their throat. Well, hello and welcome to the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. This is the podcast that is here to help you grow your direct selling business, whether you're in network marketing, party plan, MLM, whatever you identify as. We're here for you to help you grow your business using social media as an incredible tool to reach people all around the globe. My name is Sam Hind and I'm your host, and today I want to talk about a rather controversial topic. In fact, I want to go a little bit against the grain today. Why? Well, one of my very favorite books of all time is oversubscribed by the amazing Daniel Priestley. And in that book, he talks about the importance of not following the pack and doing what everybody else does, but stand on your values. And if that means standing out from the crowd, do it, because it's going to be the thing that sets you apart from everybody else. Today, I'm going to identify something about myself that sets me apart from other people that do what I do. I am a social media trainer and coach, and I am specifically working in the direct selling industry, helping businesses who are either network marketers, MLMers, direct sellers, party planners, whatever you call yourself. This is the industry that I'm super passionate about. But, and there is a really big but, there is a right way and a wrong way to grow your business in this industry. And we have been inundated by people doing this the wrong way, particularly when it comes to social media. The reason I got into this space was because I got contacted by an old friend about 10 years ago now, who reached out to me with an unsolicited message on Facebook telling me that she had this amazing business opportunity she wanted me to be a part of. Now, when I first got her request to be a friend, I thought, oh my goodness, this old friend of mine is reconnecting with me because she cares about me. Only to accept the friend request and instantaneously be sent a message about how she wanted me to jump on into business with her, that she had this amazing, ground level business that she was starting and it was going to be incredible, and how she thought of me, of course, alongside of another 100 or so people that she'd also conveniently thought of in that time. And it left a bad taste in my mouth. But I realized something. I know how incredible this industry is. I know it changes lives because it's changed mine. It changed mine right back when I was 14 years old and I stepped into this industry for the very first time. And I'll be darned if I'm going to let the bad behavior of a small few impact the great many. And so I made a commitment that day to show up and show people how to use social media to grow their business the right way, using profiles, pages, and groups effectively to grow their businesses in direct selling and to have the business of their dreams, because it's all possible. But there are a lot of people that stand where I stand, teaching social media to the direct selling industry, that will teach you churn and burn, that will teach you how to get quick wins and I call it quick gains for long-term pains. People who will teach you to use a personal profile inappropriately to grow your business fast. Now, while many of these techniques will work short term, I can tell you right now that long term, they will not grow you a sustainable business. Your churn will be high. You will not have good retention, and worst, above all else, will be the fact that you will be leaving a bad taste in people's mouths, not just about you, not just about the company you belong to, but also about the industry as a whole. I really believe that when Facebook came about, it was both an incredible blessing, but an amazingly big curse as well for this industry, because it shone a spotlight on the bad behavior of a small few, but it has impacted the great many. We have seen Facebook over the last few years clamping down on the use of its platforms for the direct selling industry because of the bad behavior of a small few. So today I want to talk about personal profiles, what is okay, what you should do, and what you absolutely under no circumstances should be doing. I'm going to put myself in the hot seat here because I am going to speak into some behaviors that I know are being taught by other people that sit in a similar seat to me. But I am going to go against the grain today, and I'm going to tell you what I will not stand for, what I will not teach, and how I really truly believe you should be using a personal profile for your benefit to grow your business. So, with all of that being said, you've got a little bit of an idea of what we're going to chat about today. If you want to know how to use a personal profile for growth, then tune on in. This is the episode for you. So let's get stuck on in. So before I talk to you about the correct use of a personal profile for the direct selling industry, again, it doesn't really matter what type of business you have in this space. And in fact, any business can use a personal profile effectively. I certainly do. So let me talk to you about what the difference is first between a profile page and a group, because the biggest question I get asked is this: how should I be using Facebook, and should I have a page, a group, a profile, and should I be posting the same thing to all three or something different? And the answer is really simple and hard all at the same time. So let me explain. A personal profile is what you set up when you first join Facebook. You must have a personal profile before you can have a page or a group. But a profile is where your family and your friends connect with you because they love you and they want to know what's going on in your world, and they want you to know what's going on in theirs. It's a personal connection. And I'm going to use a little analogy today in this episode that I hope will help explain this a little bit better to you. But a personal profile and connecting with people there is a little bit like walking into a dinner party. Now, when you walk into a dinner party, what you're not going to do is walk in the door, grab the nearest chair, stand on it, and shout to everyone in the room about your business, about the services, about the products that you sell. You're not going to be doing that because it wouldn't be appropriate. Why do we do that on our personal profiles? So I'm going to explain to you a little bit today about how one should be used and what the right place is for it in your business. Next up, let's just talk about business pages for a moment. A business page, unlike a personal profile, is publicly viewable. Now, a personal profile, just to confuse things a little bit, can be made public, but essentially the only people that can see what you post are the people that you have, that you are friends with. So they will friend request you or you'll friend request them. You accept that friend request and now you can see each other's content. A personal profile is purely for your personal journey so that your people in your world that care about you can connect with you personally. A business page is publicly viewable. People do not need to follow it to see the content. You can go to any business page just like you would a website on Facebook. You can go to any business page on Facebook just like you would a website, and you can look at all of the content. You don't need to be connected with that page in order to see what's on it. A group is a little bit different again. A group is where your community lies, and it is what I like to call a big part of your nurture sequence in your business. So the thing that we talk about a lot inside of our training is that in any successful direct selling business, you need to be doing three key things, and you need to be doing each of them well. That is, you need to be generating leads, you need to be converting those leads to sales and customers, and you need to be retaining people. If you are doing any of those three things ineffectively, you are not working productively in your business. You won't have a business that is either growing or sustainable, and you'll be working a lot harder than you need to and possibly making no money. So what we look at here is, how do your profile, page, and group help you do those three things? Now, each of them is very powerful. They each have a specific job to do in your marketing strategy. It doesn't mean that you need to always be using all three actively, but I want you to be thinking about how can they play a part and how can I use them effectively if I am using them at all. A personal profile is where you are going to create curiosity and intrigue amongst your existing family and friends and share a little about what you're up to. Your business page is where you do the business, and your group is where you create the community and you nurture the people that you've already got, that you're already connected with, that you've already maybe started to do business with. So you've got 3 different elements here, and each of them plays off one another. Your personal profile is a brilliant feeder for your business page and your group. Likewise, your business page can also be a great feeder for your personal profile, but understanding the place that it plays in your business is very, very important. So let's come back to your personal profile and focus a little bit on the do's and don'ts to using it effectively in your business. And this is where I'm going to get a little bit controversial and also a little bit passionate, because this for me is something that bothers me significantly, is the misuse of personal profiles on Facebook to grow businesses. So let's talk about that now. I'm going to give you 5 don'ts and 5 do's here. But instead of going through them separately, I'm actually going to bounce backwards and forwards a little bit, because I think it's going to explain the process a little bit better, or make it a little bit better to understand, or easier to understand, I should say, how to use a profile well. Now, we all hate that person who, when they walk in the room to this dinner party I talked about before, they walk in and they yabber about their business nonstop, uninvited. No one likes that person. And likewise, when you have got somebody on their personal profile who is actively selling their products, their services, their business opportunities, we all get annoyed with it. We all know that person and we don't want to be that person. So let's talk first of all about the first do not. So first don't, and that is don't post constantly about your business and your products. It is disrespectful. So let's come to the do with this one, and that is do remember why people are connected to you. They're connected to you because they care about you. They care about you. They love you. They want to be a part of your world, and they want you to be a part of theirs. But they didn't friend request you or accept your friend request because they wanted your business rammed down their throat. Now, I know you know this already, but sometimes we don't stop and think about, what would I want done to me in this situation? And we forget that, hang on a second, I am having an impact on the people around me, even if I don't know that they're watching. One of the things I tell people whenever we do a social media challenge is, just because people aren't commenting doesn't mean they're not watching. And you don't want to be the train wreck that people are constantly looking at going, here they go again, another post about their products, their services, their business opportunities. It isn't why people connected with you. And that is that person that walks into the dinner party, pulls up the chair, stands on it, and tells everybody in there about their products. Now, one of the things I love to talk about when I keynote, and I do a little demonstration of this, which is a lot of fun, and it is the demonstration that you wouldn't walk into a room, meet someone for the first time, and propose to them. So again, it's a little like going into that dinner party and meeting somebody when you walk in and going, hi, how are you? My name's Sam. Just wondering, would you be interested in marrying me? You wouldn't do it in real life because it would be entirely inappropriate. So why do we do that on social media, and particularly on our personal profiles? That's like, hi, how are you? I'm Sam. Here's what I've got. Will you buy from me? And it doesn't work. It's also highly inappropriate. So we need to stop and ask ourselves, how are we actually approaching this and using our personal profile as the tool that it is to have people coming to us saying, I want to know some more. And don't worry, I'm going to give you a few strategies today to help you with that. The next don't is this: don't spam. There is a common misconception with Facebook that the reason people aren't seeing my stuff is because I'm not posting enough of it. So if I just post a little bit more, people will see more of my stuff. And it actually is the complete opposite of this. The reason people aren't seeing your content is generally because you aren't putting quality content out there that the algorithm knows people want to see. We've talked on this podcast before about the algorithm. It's the program operating in the background of Facebook that knows everything about all of its users, enough to know what to deliver them, what they want to see, what they're interested in, what they're going to click on, etc., etc. This means that every post you put out there is being filtered by this algorithm, which is deciding exactly who to show it to. And so what it's doing is it's filtering every post you put out there, and it's going, I know some people that would be interested in this. I'm going to show it to them, and everybody else is not, so I'm going to hide it from them. And that's how it works. Now, when you post more content, it doesn't change how many people see your stuff unless your quality shifts. So it goes without saying that with social media and Facebook in particular, it is absolutely quality over quantity. In fact, one good quality post every 1 to 2 days is all you need. Anything more than that should go into your stories, which, by the way, is another really great strategy to use on your personal profile, where you can do just a tiny little bit more seeding of your products and your business. And I'm not talking blatant selling, but you can certainly share just a little bit more of that there in an appropriate way. But more is not going to help you. So the do here is do use your personal profile to drive people across to your business page and your group. And one of the easiest ways to do that is from time to time, share a post from your business page. So I do this occasionally. I did this a couple of weeks ago where I had I was chatting with a really good friend of mine, and she was talking about a particular business issue she was having. And I said, I did a brilliant podcast episode on that with an amazing guest. And she went, you have a podcast? And I thought, oh my gosh, it's probably been a while since I've shared this on my personal profile. So that was a little bit of an oversight of mine. And I went, okay, I need to be remembering to tell my family and friends in an appropriate way what I do so that they can come and follow along with me if they want to. Give them that choice. And so I put a post up, shared from my business page to my personal profile of my latest podcast episode. And I just said, I've got some family and friends that I know would probably be interested to know I have a podcast. And this is an episode in particular that I thought some of you might be interested in. And here is why, blah, 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 blah. So I gave it context. That's very important if you're going to share something from your page to your profile. Tell your friends and family why you're doing it. So you're not just blatantly hitting share. So tell them why you're doing it. And I did that. Now, what this does is it's kind of like that dinner party, you walking in and talking to somebody and saying, here's my business card. Come and check me out over here. So when you share a post from your business page, if they click on that post, it'll take them to your business page where they can choose to follow you over there. It's like saying, I'm not going to spam you over here, but I am going to make sure that you know I do actually have a business, but you're doing it in an appropriate way. Now, a couple of keys. Don't do it constantly. You want to do it from time to time and kind of mix it in with your other posts. And you want to make sure people know why it's relevant for them. So in this case, I shared a podcast episode that might be interesting to my family and friends, which of course helps them understand a little bit more about what I get up to. Another way you can do that is, of course, to tell them about your group. So again, a post I put up just every now and again is to say, hey, just in case any of my contacts here are interested, I, of course, teach social media, and I've got a Facebook group where I talk about some of the latest tips and tricks that you can do, but also the latest Facebook updates. If anyone wants to come and join my free group, you are super welcome to do so. Just let me know and I will hook you up. Or I could just share the link straight to my group if I'm happy to do that. So again, a way from time to time for you to draw people over to your group. The key, of course, is making sure they understand what's in it for them. What's the value in it for them? So don't tell them what they need to do. Just give them the opportunity. And again, it's like being at that dinner party and you're having a chat with someone and you hand them a business card and say, hey, you can check me out over here. It's not dragging them out of the room or forcing them to be in a room they don't want to be in. It's saying you've got the option, if you want to connect with me over here. That's entirely up to you. So remember, of course, that if you were having a conversation with someone in the room, you're at this dinner party and you're chatting with them, you wouldn't automatically go straight to business, okay? You would be talking about what you're passionate about, what you care about, etc. So the next don't I'm going to give you is this. Don't do unsolicited reach outs. Now, this is the one where I start to get a bit passionate because only 5 minutes before I went live to record this podcast episode, and let me tell you, I've been preparing this one for a while, and I actually had a number of examples that I already had in the back of my mind that I wanted to talk about. And then lo and behold, I get this message from somebody on LinkedIn, and this happens to me every day. I love LinkedIn, by the way, as a social media platform for growing my business, connecting with people I love and respect, learning things, and sharing things that I've been up to as well from a business perspective. It's a really appropriate place to do that. But what I hate is the Russian roulette of connections on LinkedIn. And this is starting to happen a lot more on Facebook as well. What I mean by Russian roulette is this. When somebody asks to connect with me on LinkedIn, I know that there is a 90% chance that the moment I hit accept on that connection request, I am going to receive an inbox sell that I did not ask for, and it drives me nuts. This is also happening a lot on Facebook. I was chatting with one of our Rise Up Inner Circle members the other day, and she said, Sam, in the last week, I have had 5 people contact me who I don't even know who they are through Messenger to try and sign me up to their direct selling company. I didn't ask for these messages or inboxes. I don't even know who these people are. They're completely unsolicited. And to me, it is completely inappropriate. Now, in addition to this particular person sent me a message and said, I want to let you know about the opportunity to be a founder of a new direct selling company that's coming to Australia. And I wrote back and she said, and I thought of you specifically. Now, I wrote back to this person because I just can't, most people would ignore it. I don't. I get really annoyed by this stuff. So I kind of prodded the bear a little. And I wrote back and said, really? Me specifically? Why me? And she wrote back and said, why not you? Of course, Sam. So I wrote back and said, do you have any idea what I actually do? And then she went quiet, and I noticed, because I happen to have premium LinkedIn, that this person checked my profile within minutes of me doing that, obviously read what I did and disconnected from me immediately, because this person has gone, uh-oh, wrong person, whoops-a-days. So I just want to point out that this sort of behavior, whilst I know this happens all the time, and my mission and passion is teaching people not to do this sort of behavior, most people are not me. And most people, remember, they will remember how you made them feel, not what you said or did. And this sort of behavior leaves a bad taste in their mouth about maybe you, but probably more than likely about the industry. They label the industry when things like this happen, and that's not cool. So please don't be that person that has someone walking away going, oh, it's another one of those pyramid selling people. By the way, pyramid selling, highly illegal and not what the direct selling industry is. But it doesn't change the fact that that's the taste it puts in the mouth of many people when we behave like this on personal profiles. So please do not send unsolicited messages that have not been invited. This is like going to someone and saying, will you marry me? It's not okay. Aside from the fact that it actually goes against Facebook's community standards as well, it could land you in hot water. If you grow a business by doing this, I guarantee you are doing short-term gain for long-term pain, and you are hurting the industry. Please stop. And if you have anybody, you can tell I'm passionate about this. If you have anybody that you know that is doing this, please discourage it, because it is causing a problem for you and me and everybody else who is doing the right thing and is trying to grow a long-term business. What I want for you is to have a business that is sustainable, that gets you the income that you dream of, the lifestyle that you want, not a business that is here today, gone tomorrow. And many of these strategies are just about that. There are a lot of coaches out there right now that are teaching these strategies where you do unsolicited messaging because they know it'll get you a quick win right now. But what they also know is they want you signing up to their programs to get those quick wins. They don't tell you about the success of that same person 12 months from now. They tell you about the success of that person 30 days from now. And guaranteed that person gets people signed up. But what happens is that person fizzles out very quickly, because very, very fast people know, they learn, I am just a number. They don't actually care about me. I'm not actually in this business because this person specifically thought of me, like this person on LinkedIn was indicating. I got caught up with these products or this business because this person was spamming a ton of people. And that's not cool. So Just look at the writing on the wall. And if you want to do some learning with somebody, anybody, what I suggest you do is look at the runs on the board long term, because I know that you probably want to grow a business that is still around in a year, still around in 5 years, maybe 10 years. Perhaps you've got a dream to have to retire and to work just this business on hours that you dictate and determine. Maybe you're wanting to have a lifestyle that gives you the ability to spend more time with your family, even maybe retire a partner. But to do that, you're going to need to grow a long-term sustainable business. And that is not going to come from those quick wins, such as unsolicited messaging. Now, just before I move on to the next do and don't, what I want to be really clear about here is some people might be listening to what I'm saying going, oh my gosh, she's telling me that I've got to do everything the long way, the hard way. I don't want my business to only be successful in a year or 5 years or 10 years. I want to be successful now. I am not saying that these strategies I'm talking to you about that we teach are not going to get you quick wins. They will get you quick wins. But what I don't want you to do is go for the wins that are going to do damage long term. So some of the things that we teach you to do may take slightly longer, but more often than not, the perception is what is the problem, not the reality. In other words, people assume that when I'm talking about building a long-term relationship and dating your customers, that it means that it's going to take longer for you to get them converted into being customers or team. But the reverse actually happens because people suddenly feel safer doing business with you. When they know that you're in this to make sure it's about them, when you're providing value first, when you're getting to know them and you're not hounding and hassling them like mad, like sometimes this industry is perceived as doing, then what happens is your family and friends that follow your personal profile are more likely to reach out to you and say, hey, can you tell me a little bit more about what you've been up to? Because they suddenly feel safe to do so. And it actually moves you a lot faster along that track and gets you results a lot quicker. But what I can promise you happens is those people stick around a lot longer because you put the time into them and you did it the right way. Now, the do in this, so I've said don't do any unsolicited reaching out. That is a big fat no-no in my book and in the book of Facebook as well. It's actually their rules. But the next one is this, and that is the do. And the do is use your personal profile to create curiosity and intrigue. Now, I'm going to give you an example of this. There are so many examples that I can give you. I'm going to give you a couple actually, because I want this to be really clear. The difference between standing on that chair and selling to everyone in the room versus I'm having a conversation with somebody with a glass of wine in my hand at the dinner party, and I've actually got you wanting to know more. So an example of this is somebody who was actually a guest on this podcast a number of years ago, and she's since switched direct selling companies. So she was in a party plan company. She's now in a network marketing company that sells health-related products. And she went on this great weight loss journey. And I watched a post that she put up, and I was like, bravo, that's brilliant. And here's what she did. She used her personal profile. She did have a business page because she knows the importance of that. But she wanted, of course, to create curiosity and intrigue amongst her family and friends in an appropriate way. And everyone knew that she was on a weight loss journey because she was sharing her story. That is completely okay to do on your personal profile. Now, in this case, she was sharing with family and friends what she was getting up to and how she was on this weight loss journey. And one of the things that she did was she showed up one morning and she said, I had a lot of people asking me how I've gone about losing all my weight so far. I've lost 10 kilos. I've got another 10 to go. And she said, so what I decided to do is show up today and just share with you what my morning routine is really quickly. Now, she did it in a very clever way because it left more questions than answers. So what she did was she actually hid the bottles. She didn't have them visible, so you couldn't read what the products were. And she just shared what she got up to without talking specifically about the products themselves. She said, so I start by taking my supplement. Now, she had, I'm assuming it was a collagen of some sort. It was a liquid on a spoon. I do not know what it was. She took the product and she said, and then I make my morning smoothie and she's putting ingredients in. And I recognized, of course, the fruit and the veg that was going in, but I didn't know what the powder was that she put in there. There were a couple of different things that went in. And she goes, and then I make sure I hydrate and I take my drink my water. And so she said, and this takes me all of 5 minutes every day. And she said, I feel amazing. I've lost this weight. I'm feeling so good. And she said, I was just going to share that and then moved on. I think she even shared a little smoothie recipe without giving the details specifically of the product. She just talked about adding in a protein powder. Now, as you can probably imagine, her post blew up because everyone wanted to know, what are you taking? What are you doing? Share it with me. But instead of then commenting on the post for the world to hear, which would look like you being at a dinner party and then yelling out your answer to this person so everyone else can hear, what she did was she said, hey, I'll send you some details in Messenger because I don't want to share the wrong information that won't actually be beneficial to you. She said, I'll give you a couple of recipes. And so she made it really personal for each person that asked. And then she also said, hey, if anyone just wants the information, I'll just tell you where my business page is and you can go check me out over there. So again, what she was doing was creating curiosity and intrigue that was having people asking more questions of her, knowing she was safe because she's not going to hound and hassle me with the information. Now, another way of doing this is an example I actually did for some of my Senegence friends. So a few years ago, I was speaking for a Senegence conference virtually. And this was prior to me trying any of their products. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Senegence, they have a lip color that is long lasting. And so they sent me one of their lip colors to wear for their event, which I was super happy to try out and wear. But I was explaining this exact concept with them of less is more. Create curiosity and intrigue and have people coming out of the woods to ask you for more information. And so that is about knowing what they want and almost giving it to them. And so I used an example that day, and here's the example I used. They sent me this lip color, and it was called Ruby Red. I love this color. I put it on that day for the very first time. It's kind of like a bright red with some sparkles in it, okay? So I put it on at about 8 o'clock in the morning, and then I spoke at the event at 9 o'clock that morning. Now, I hadn't used the product before, so I didn't actually know how long it was going to last. And I get to 6 o'clock that afternoon, and it's time for me to go for a run that I'd scheduled with my stepdad. And so I get in the car, I've got my running gear on, my hat's on, work day's finished, and I look in the rearview mirror. And looking back at me is a reflection of running Sam with bright, sparkly red lip color on. And I thought, oh my goodness, I look ridiculous for a runner. So I take a selfie and I show them this example. And I put it up on Facebook and I simply say this. I cannot believe that I put this color on at 8 o'clock this morning. It's now 6 p.m. and it still looks freshly applied. I said, I'm going to look like a crazy runner with bright red lip color on, but at least I'll look good doing it. And I left it at that. Now I went for my run, get back in the car afterwards. Half an hour later, my post has blown up and I've got over 30 comments from family and friends asking, what is this lip color? What is this that you speak of? Where do you get this from? How did that last so long? Oh my goodness. Now, of course, I don't sell the products. So I didn't then say, hey, I'll sell some to you or here's, inbox them or anything like that. I just said, it's Senegence. This is what it is. You can check it out over here or find a consultant. I'm sure someone will help you out. But my point was, if I had come out and said, here's my product, here's what it does, here's how much it costs, here's the link to my page or whatever it would have been, then no one would have reached out. First of all, because I would have already told them everything that they needed and left nothing to the imagination, but also because they would have felt like I was an unsafe place to go for the information and because people buy from those they like, know, and trust. And when I build the trust, people want what I want. They want what I do because they trust me. Now, by me sharing that I'm wearing the lip color and taking that personal photograph, they know it's me, they trust me, and they want to know what I get up to. And they're like, if it's good enough for Sam, it's good enough for me. I want to try this stuff out. So remember this. Trust is more important now than it has ever been before. And in this day and age, with the rise of AI, it has been harder to earn than it's ever been. There is a question in everyone's mind, and that is, what is real? And so I'm gonna switch the last two around here. I'm gonna move on to the don't number 4, and that is, don't be anything but you. Don't be anything but you. People want to see the real version of you. And that brings me to the do number 4, which is build trust, be real and be relatable. Aside from the fact that it's what the platforms want, it's also what your family and friends deserve on your personal profile. It's why they connected with you. So be you. A really great friend of mine in the industry, Celine Egan, who's also been a guest on this podcast multiple times, often says this to me. She goes, Facebook and Instagram are just the world's highlight reel. She goes, it's not real. It's not the real reel. It's a highlight reel. It's what everyone wants the world to see, not what's actually going on. When you share the real version of you, it builds trust. Yet we often think we have to be something that we're not in order to be successful. I'm going to be more like that person over there, or I've got to show up perfectly like that one. And the thing is that isn't what people relate to. They relate to what makes them feel like they belong. And we're all humans. We're all crazy and flawed and broken and all of the messy, wonderful things that go along with that. So when we can see somebody else as messy and wonderful all at the same time, we feel connected, and we're more likely to do business with someone like that than someone who's got it all together. A really good example of this is Jerry, who was actually, again, another guest on this podcast a number of years ago. And Jerry, again, is actually with Senegence. She was one of the founding consultants with the company. And Jerry was talking about this incident where they released a new product a number of years ago, which was eyelashes. And she felt really conflicted because Jerry at this time had not tried eyelashes before. She hadn't put them on. She didn't know how to put them on. And here she was having to spruik a product that she didn't feel comfortable with because she wasn't familiar with it yet. And she thought, I can't show up on social media until I've worked this out. Or can I? And so she talked about how she decided to show up and do a live, putting on the eyelashes for the first time, no practice, like straight out of the box. And she started off by saying, hey, this could end up being messy, but just bear with me. Let's do this together. And it was. She said she had glue all down her face. Eyelashes were on sideways. It was a mess. But she said what happened off the back of that was her business grew significantly. Her sales increased dramatically across all products. Why? Because people knew if she's being so honest about this product over here, I know I can trust her for honest advice with what I need. She's not going to sell me something because she thinks I need it or because it's what she's making most commission on or it's the most expensive. She's going to sell it to me because she believes in it and because she knows I'm going to love it. That's trust. Sometimes showing up with our failures is more powerful than showing up with our successes. This is why on this podcast, I often bare the world to you guys. I tell you about all of the things I've got wrong as well as the things I've got right, partly because I love you and I want you to be successful and I want you to learn from my failures. But also because if I show up and say, hey, I'm a social media pro and I've always got it right, you're not going to believe that because that's not how you feel. But when I show up and I say, do you know what? I used to call myself not tech savvy. I used to be the person that was so bad at technology that my boss would avoid allowing me to touch anything, including the photocopier. But here I am today with a business teaching technology to people every single day and successfully. But I came from a place of, I get it. I totally get what it's like to feel like you're overwhelmed and left behind and you didn't learn technology in school and you have no idea what's going on around you right now. And let me tell you, I worked very hard to get to this place. But if I don't share those failures with you, if I don't share those pains with you, if I don't share with you the time that I totally screwed something up and I learned a lesson from doing it, you're not going to feel like I get it, but also you're not going to trust me because it's not real and it's definitely not relatable. Now, the very last don't I want to talk about here is probably the one that's frustrating me the most right now, and I'm going to get really passionate again about this one, so bear with me. But this one is a huge no-no, not just in my book. It's also completely non-compliant for the industry and very non-compliant for the platforms, and it's called clickbait. This is something I'm seeing happening more and more and more right now. And I know that no listener of mine is ever going to be doing this, but if you see someone else doing it, you're going to recognize it now straight away. A really good example of clickbait is where someone uses either something misleading to get you to comment on or click on a post, or where someone tells you what to respond. So I'm going to talk about the what to respond first, because this is a fairly minor version of this, but it does go against Facebook community standards to do this. And this is where you put words in someone's mouth. So a really basic example of this is to say something like, which of these would you prefer for a holiday destination? Show the emoji corresponding with the picture of where you would want to go. And so you've got option A, B, C, and D. And A is emoji of a thumbs up with the picture. B might be a picture of an emoji of a love heart with the picture, and so on and so forth. And people have to comment with a specific emoji. Now, that is a type of clickbait that requires people to respond in a particular way, meaning you're telling them to only comment with the emoji corresponding with the picture that is the holiday they would want to go on. Now, this is kind of like taking away freedom of speech in a sense. And Facebook doesn't like it because it wants people to comment how they want to comment. It wants comments to be genuine and interactive and free-flowing. And so what you're better off doing is saying, which of these holiday destinations would you most want to go to? Or just, if you could go anywhere in the world, where would you want to go? And let people answer and give you their actual answer rather than telling them what to say. That's a fairly minor version of clickbait. The one I'm talking about today is not minor at all. And this is what I'm seeing a little bit happening right now. And this one looks like this. I saw one the other day. I'm going to give the exact example of it. I'm going to tell you what I saw and I'm going to tell you what happened, because this just makes my skin crawl and it is completely over the line. This was done on someone's personal profile. Now, I already know that this particular person, who's a leader in the industry, has lost their personal profile at least 2 occasions for bad conduct. And they're at it again. So this particular person put up a post that said, get your money out of the banks now, ... And that was it. Now, of course, that is fear-mongering, and it leads people to go, oh my gosh, what do they know that I don't know? So people are commenting on the post. Now, I knew what they were up to, but I wanted to just confirm my suspicions. So I commented on it and I just said, why is that? Instantly, I got added to a Facebook Messenger group chat that I had not been asked to be put in, where this person was actively fear-mongering and selling their business opportunity purely based on fear. And they were putting all of these, conspiracy theories in there. And I asked the question that everyone else in that group wanted to ask but was too afraid to ask, and this is what happens. People are scared to be the one person to stand up. And so I said, why have I been added to this group? I simply commented on a post. I didn't ask to be added to this group. Instantly, I had dozens of people liking my comment, and the person that started the group buried my comment very, very fast by putting up another 4 or 5 posts with all of this fear-mongering to try and get people to interact and buy what it was that they were selling. This is not okay. And if you ever see anyone doing it, report them immediately, because that sort of behavior is what gives our industry a bad name. It is clickbaiting at its absolute worst. And guys, what does it do? It's selling to people by not having them feel hope or excitement or any of those things. It's having them be afraid and buying from you through fear. That isn't building a long-term sustainable business. By the way, I also know that this particular person has been through multiple businesses in the last 12 months alone. That's a really good indicator that they are not building a sustainable model. So if you are learning from somebody who cannot show you a sustainable business model that they have been operating with, that should be ringing alarm bells for you right now. So clickbait, totally not okay. I want to leave you with one last strategy that is really powerful and really important to use your personal profile for, and that is to inform people. A lot of people do not use their about section on their personal profile effectively. But what you can do in your about section, which even people who are not friends with you, depending on your privacy settings, can see, is you can tell them what your place of employment is. Now, if you're running a business and you've got a business page, put in there that you are the owner of or director of or founder of or whatever it is that you are of X business, and that can be a link to your Facebook business page where they can go to find out more about what you get up to. That is a brilliant way to make it very clear to your family and friends in a non-houndy, hassly way what you do and allow them to come across and find you at their leisure. So if you combine that with curiosity and intrigue, the occasional appropriate post with context from your business page across to your personal profile, I promise you, the family and friends that are meant to do business with you will. And the rest of them are still going to love you because they aren't going to feel like you're ramming down their throat a business opportunity they never asked to be told about in the first place. So that brings me to the end of this episode. I hope you've got a few tips and tricks in here to help you grow your direct selling business using your personal profile. Remember to think about the bigger picture. How does my profile, my business page, my group all work together? Because they are such an incredibly powerful way for you to reach people that you've never had the opportunity to reach before. But there is a right way and there is a wrong way to do it. That's it from me today. Thank you for tuning into this podcast. Don't forget to share it with a friend that you feel you can help impact. This is a free resource, guys, that we love to be able to provide you with each and every week. And don't forget to subscribe and vote with your feet. Tell us if you love this podcast by subscribing and making sure you don't miss out on any of the upcoming episodes as well. That's it from me. Bye for now. We'll see you in here again next week. Thank you for joining us in this episode of the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. If you love listening and you found that this was helpful for your direct selling business, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also check out the recommended video that's popped up on your screen right here. I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye for now.